Hi, 3DF here. This is actually my first video on the channel, and I wanted to touch up on a subject that people have been having a lot of issues with, and that is, as you could tell by the title, Diffeomorphic. I'm not going to go into any advanced features here. I'm just going to show you how to get started, since I see a lot of questions, not to me, because this is likely the first time you've ever heard of me, but a lot of questions about how to actually get it to work. And I'm going to show you the easiest method of getting that done that no longer requires it to be manually set up in DAZ. So let's not waste any more time and let's get started. So I'm here inside DAZ, and I've actually got a fresh install of DAZ that I just installed today. I'm using 4.16 Pro, as you can see, and I have a Genesis 8 male model here with base clothes and the base hair that it comes with. So I'm going to get this character and I'm going to transfer it into Blender using the Diffeomorphic add-on. Now, the Diffeomorphic add-on you can get at this website here. I have the link in the description below. But basically, in order to download it, if you haven't yet, real quick, you just come onto this website, make sure you're on 1.6 and not 1.5, because that's important. 1.6 is the one we're going over right now. And you want to come down here. You have the links to the download pages and you have the repository. The repository is what you're going to want to download. Make sure you don't download this. Make sure you download this one. So you click on here. It's going to take you over to the Bitbucket page. And once you're here, now yours is going to look different than mine because I have a dark mode extension on my web browser because I don't like my eyes being burned out by a white screen. But basically, once you're in here, you may have a button to press over here on the left with 3 lines. If you do, just click that and it's going to bring down this drop down menu and you just click on this downloads button here. Then once you have that, you just click download repository and it's going to start downloading. It shouldn't be too long because it's a really small download. But just click the arrow, show in folder, and then it's going to bring you into the folder with your downloads. So the first thing you're going to want to do, which is the first thing I would do, is make a new folder. So I'm going to make a new folder and I'm going to call it, actually, I'm going to call it DAZ to Blender. And I'm going to put the Diffeomorphic plugin inside the DAZ to Blender folder. Now that's not an important step. That's just something I would do for organization. Now you would come in here and you're going to right click on it and extract all. You're going to wait for it to extract and it's going to take a second. It shouldn't take too long, so it's only 146 items. But basically once that's done, you do not delete this folder because you're going to need it later for Blender. But for right now, we're going to use the one that's unzipped for DAZ. So you just open that up and you come down here to the DAZ Studio folder. You click on that, you click on scripts, and then here you have the Diffeomorphic plugin that's going to be used for DAZ. So you just come back to the scripts here, and then you want to go to your documents folder, which is most likely where this is going to be at. But just right click on it, hit open a new window, drag this over, and then here is mine, but yours is going to look different. But this is my documents. And so you have, I actually already made a DAZ to Blender folder, but we'll just ignore that. And so we have the DAZ 3D folder is what you're looking for. But you're going to want to click that and then click Studio and then go to My Library. And My Library is basically where your library is stored in DAZ 3D. If you can't find it for some reason here, then you can also find it inside DAZ Studio. You just come over here to My Library, which is under the DAZ Studio folder. But you just come here to My Library, right click on it, and you can hit Browse the folder location, and that'll take you straight to it. And then so now what you want to do here is go to your DAZ Studio folder. You have the scripts here, and then you want to go to your My Library folder and just right click it, hit copy, and then come here, right click, hit paste. So now that's going to be inside of DAZ Studio. In order to see it, because right now you can't see it, you just right click on My Library and hit refresh, and then boom, there it is. So now you open it up and there's the Diffeomorphic plugin. So before 1.6, what you had to do was get the menu set up manually inside of DAZ. You no longer have to do that. Now all you have to do is just double click the setup menus here. This is the problem that a lot of people have, is they don't actually know that this exists. A lot of people don't realize this exists, and they've been setting it up manually because there's a lot of tutorials on how to set it up manually. So basically all you have to do, which I already have mine set up here because I did it before to make sure that, you know, it's all working properly. But you just double click the setup menus. It's going to bring this up here, which for me, it says menu entry for it is already exists. So it's replacing. But for you, it's not going to say that. It's just going to say menu entries created. So since the menu entry is not created, you basically can just come here and hit export to Blender or export HD to Blender. But we're just going to do export to Blender here. And then you also have save paths, which we'll show you later. And right now you're all set up in Blender or in DAZ. You're pretty much good to go. So what you need to do now is go into Blender, and here is what Blender is going to look like by default. I'm not going to show you how to, I'm not going to tell you how to move everything around and stuff like that, because I assume if you're watching this video, you already know how to do all of that stuff. So basically what you need to do is hit edit, come down here to preferences, and you're going to go to your add-ons here at the bottom, click install. Once you do that, you're going to go to your folder that you made for DAZ to Blender, and then right here is your zip folder, which is why I said not to delete it, because Blender can only use zip folders in order to create add-ons. It can't use an unzipped folder. So the zipped folder is what we're going to be clicking on here. You just double click it and it's going to install it into Blender, and then you click this little box here to get it turned on. And once it's turned on, if it works, now you have it inside Blender. You press in order to bring up this little menu here, and then you can see the DAZ importer is right there. Now you have the import to DAZ or easy import to DAZ or global settings. What we're going to be doing right now is the global settings. This is an important part, the most important part really. And here is going to be your My Library directory. This should be exactly how it says it. If it says My Library at the end, you're good to go. Really, it should say that. You shouldn't have a problem at all with that. And then you have load root paths. This is an important part. We want to go back into DAZ real quick, and then we hit the save paths, save root paths button. So you click on that, and then this is probably going to take you into the DAZ Studio 4 folder, which is good. That's fine. So you just come here and you click up here at the top, hit Control C to copy that, and then you save. Mine's already here, so I'm not going to save over it because, you know, it's fine. And then you hit cancel. I'm sorry, you don't hit cancel, you hit save. I hit cancel. And then you go to Blender and you come down here and you hit load root paths. And then you click up here at the top, hit Control V to paste it, press enter. And then that's going to bring you into the folder that you had. You just click here and hit load root paths. And now you're good to go. So then all you have to do now, you've got it all set up. Now you have the Diffeomorphic plugin set up. It's so easy now. Where before you had to do everything manually and it was a hassle, and you can mess stuff up, but now it's pretty hard to mess stuff up because of how simple it is. So at this point, all you really need to do is save your file. If you have your character, you have the character or whatever you want to bring in the Blender through Diffeomorphic, and you just come down and you hit save or save as, and then you save your scene. I'm just going to save over this. You have mine's named Diffeo tutorial. You can name it whatever you want. And then you come down here to the export to Blender, which you can also click export Blender here, this button. But if you don't want to come all the way down to this, which I only have 2 things in this because this is a fresh install, but for you, you may have a lot. So if you don't want to come down to this, you can just hit the menu button that you created. So you want to select your character, hit files, hit export to Blender, and then that's going to bring this up. It's going to create a DBZ file, which basically means DAZ to Blender zip file. And you want that name to be the exact same name as the file you made. It has to be the exact same name because this is going to be a DUF file and this is going to be a DBZ file. So now you just save this, and then You go back and and it's also going to tell you how long it took. This is basically saying that it's done. If this doesn't show up yet, it's not done yet. And it may take longer on your computer if you're on a slower computer, or if you have a lot of stuff that you're bringing in with a character with a lot of morphs and stuff like that, it could take significantly longer. Mine only took 3 seconds. And then you just go to Blender and you click the DAZ importer and you click either import DAZ or easy import DAZ. I prefer easy import DAZ, but sometimes I use import DAZ too. It really doesn't matter. But we're going to use easy import DAZ here. And then you go to the folder you made, DAZ to Blender. Or sorry, you don't go to the folder you made. You go to your scenes, which is going to be under Studio, My Library, and then Scenes. And then you go to your Diffeo tutorial or wherever you're saving. Wherever you save this at is where you need to find it at. So you just go to the Duff folder and you click it and you hit easy import DAZ. You don't need to mess with any of this stuff. I may make a video going over some of these things, but right now it doesn't matter. Just hit easy import DAZ, and then this is gonna come up. You have a little thing here that's showing you the progress. It's gonna go all the way up, and then you have this little circle you have to wait. If you're on a slower computer, this may take a while to load, but for me, it should only take a minute at most, and there it is. So now I have the character here. The warning that pops up, it really doesn't matter. You can just ignore that. But right here is the character. You can see it looks kind of weird. And you can see all the bones, the colors aren't right, but this is just because this is how Blender loads in the solid view mode. So everything looks weird right now, but that's not how it's actually going to look when you're rendering it. And in order to get rid of these bones, you just click the one that's glowing. So you have Genesis 8 male, and you just click on the little eye there and it's gone. But if you're not moving your character around, you don't need the bones. You're going to need the bones if you're going to be posing and moving your character and stuff like that. So now what you need to do is just click on the viewport shading, and it's going to take a second for me. But it's basically just going to compile the shaders. And once the shaders are all compiled, you'll be able to see that it works beautifully. And as I said, I did this all here, showing this all to you, using a new install of DAZ and using a new install of Blender. So it should be the exact same process for you as it is for me. But yeah, this is it. It's good to go. I'm going to bring in a light so I can actually see the character a little better. And but yeah, that's the character. It's looking pretty good. You can see that Diffeomorphic does a really good job of bringing the character in. It's got really nice detail. Honestly, sometimes I think it looks better than in DAZ. The hair also, I'm impressed with a lot, with the way it looks through Diffeomorphic, because if you bring it in any other way, the hair does not come through right, and you have to tweak it to make it look good. But yeah, it's really good. But that's basically it. That's how you get your character over from DAZ to Blender using Diffeomorphic add-on. So real quick, I'm going to be making a lot more videos on DAZ and also Blender, but mainly DAZ to Blender, and also sometimes to Unreal Engine. If you liked what you saw, if I gave you any information that's going to help you out in the future, please hit the like and subscribe button so that way the video can be seen by more people and we can help more people out along the way as more videos are made. And if you have any questions or if anything's not working right for you for some reason, please feel free to let me know in the comments below, and I will definitely reply to every question and try to answer it to the best of my ability. But yeah, definitely hit that like or subscribe button, comment below, and I will see you guys in the next one.